Welcome back, or welcome to, the beginner's mini build of Applegate. In this video, we'll be reaching for new milestones, laying the foundations for a flourishing farming industry, and reeling in a mighty fishing port so impressive you'll swear it was this big. This is part 2 of 5 for a beginner's build series, whose purpose is for either those fresh and green to city skylines, or those catching a refresher before the upcoming sequel. In the last part, we assembled a rough sketch of where and how we want our city to grow. We utilized storytelling to give it purpose, as well as having established a balanced fiscal outlook. But what's next on our agenda? A sense of tranquility filling the streets of Applegate, a town that's more than just its buildings and roads. It's a peaceful refuge where purpose and identity are just as valuable as profit margins. Our founding fathers and mothers dreamt of more than just this financial stability. They envisioned a self-sustaining haven for hard-working folks. A place where farmers, arborists, hewers, and artisans alike could call home. Right now, Applegate's economy is stable, but the reliance on imports is a thorn in their side. The question remains, what's next? The path towards self-sufficiency is a comforting ideology, but each step is like a piece of an intricate puzzle waiting to be solved. In the face of ambiguity, the founding fathers were adrift with no clear direction. That is when the arborist, irritated by the lack of action, broke the silence. "We need to put food on our tables before our people can work," he declared. His words resonated with the angler, a gruff, sea-weathered character who spoke up in agreement. "If you could set up some orchards, maybe a few farms for starters, we can tide over. I've got boats and nets, but they're on the mainland. I'll need some time to get things up and running." United by a shared vision, they drafted plans and plots, weaving the dream of Applegate into reality, as bright and promising as the dawn of a new day. Welcome back. In case the story had you skipping out of the fray, like some skip leg day, we'll be expanding from our current stay out and into the bay. Before we kick things off, here are some noteworthy points. Each time we hit these sweet milestones, take a moment to check your city's health. As they become available, don't forget to add the new essential city services, ensuring they'll adequately support your city's future growth. If you're feeling bold and your budget allows, consider the more optional services, and feel free to indulge, as they'll enhance land value, education levels, and overall citizen happiness and health. Don't fret, I'll be here to remind you of these tips as we go. Anywho, without further ado, we've got milestones to reach, me and you, so building a neighborhood is what we must do. Cities, much like children, need room to sprawl, to grow, to evolve. To help our city of Applegate do just that, we will be expanding our urban playpen into this tile. Boasting both railway and highway access, coveted beachfront real estate, and a playground for our imaginations, I believe this tile has it all. As the less enlightened Pasta Yeti lays out these new roads, allow me, your wise host, Future Yeti, to let you in on his plans. He wanted to attract newcomers with enticing city services, like an elementary school and medical clinic. Not only do these services draw people in, but they also boost the land value, leading to more tax revenue. Postietti's goal was to create a city of diverse and unique grids, allowing for a little organized chaos. His careful planning ensured that traffic would be funneled to the main arterials, avoiding residential congestion. In the heart of this urban maze, he left room for vital community spaces like schools, parks, and community centers. He may be an amateur now, but one day he hopes to master the art. And there it is, the tiny town milestone. And this one, well, let's check it out real quick. It appears to come with no mandatory city services. Now, this is your friendly neighborhood reminder to check up on your city's vitals and adjust your budgets. I'd wager that we can actually crank most of these up to 100%. Before we sow the seeds of our farms, here's a handy tip. When you set a vehicle-based service, such as garbage right here, to 101%, it actually increases every garbage facility's available vehicles by 1. Dreaming of thriving green prosperity? With our neighborhood fully set up and services in place, we march towards self-sustainability. However, our current reality? Importing over 300 units of goods. Simply unacceptable. As we sketch the blueprint of our farming industry, remember the key lessons from our previous ventures. Planning boundaries, ensuring efficient traffic flow, planting the producers, and managing processing and warehousing. For my city, I've strategically positioned the farming offices near the beach for that relaxing seaside ambiance, coupled with the thoughtful caring policies for that added peace of mind. And would you look at that? We've hit another milestone. Let's take a look at what we've unlocked. It appears to be a lot of roads, so this might be something we need to think about. And it looks like we have a new mandatory service. So remember to add this new cemetery and then adjust your budgets accordingly if you didn't go to 100% earlier. Then we'll be ready to continue our journey. With the DLC crop production and warehousing in place, our focus shifts to the processors, flour mills, cattle sheds, and the unique factory bakery. Keeping an eye out for the forthcoming neighborhood, we should consider their pollution and noise when choosing their locations. As for their warehousing, a balanced small yard should suffice. We'd want to place these in such a way where they have quick and easy access to the highway. Since my Industries Guide video, I've heard rumor that unique factory goods can satiate commercial zones for longer, both reducing traffic and boosting profits. So, if your desire is to continue with the DLC, look forward to wonderful profit margins and reduced traffic. But as for me, it's goodbye to the DLC and hello to the specializations made free. With our decently structured roads and propitious empty space, we will then apply the farming specialization to our district. This will reduce imports by catering to our local and organic produce, as well as increasing income by supplying our generic industry or even exporting themselves. And here we be for milestone 3. So let's go ahead and continue to see what we've got here. Looks like we have received a lot of roads. So yet again, I think this is something the game's trying to tell us is, hey, please upgrade from dirt roads. We have a couple new services, and we also have some more green options, but it doesn't appear that anything is required. One thing that did catch my eye is these fish farms right over here. So these will enable us to be able to flesh out our fishing industry. So I look forward to that. But anyways, As your reminder, make sure to adjust your city services accordingly to make sure you'll be able to reach the next milestone without any sort of hiccups. During construction, you might notice an increase in imports, a consequence of convenience paywalled by DLC. Personally, I find this distasteful to say the least, but not without counter. And how do I, you ask? Well, that's easy. By reading the building names. Processors like this, Bread and Beyond, have a processed good in the name, while producers, like this one here, named Phil's Fields generally are associated with produce, such as livestock. These aren't processed goods. Now, personally, when I'm trying to have more of these producers zone in, I do feel bad as I demolish the misfits, as if I'm acting like an overbearing parent using the self-sufficient ideology to cope. But demolish them enough times and you will have fields that zone in their place. For those of you new to this, let's cast our nets into the fishing industry. A gem from the Sunset Harbor DLC. One essential tip before we dive in: use key walls to keep your docks and farms organized. Now, if you're wondering what a key is, it's that thing you've been mispronouncing. It's not quay, by the way, it's key. So repeat after me. Key. You first unlock docks and markets, two of the fundamental pieces within this industry. The dock produces fish and either exports or delivers to both factories and markets. The markets, in turn, sell the fish to our citizens and visitors. However, for markets and these subsequent factories to function, docks and farms are necessary because, alas, fish can't be imported. As noted over the past 2 milestones, we've unlocked farms, fish factories, and a unique seafood factory. Farms, unlike docks, don't need fishing routes, just some time and open water. The factories offer processing options for your fish, transforming them into both general and unique goods. Despite these exhilarating features, note that there is no specialized zoned industry for this resource. As you place and progress, you'll unlock more efficient docks and farms. While farms just need open water, docks need specific routes in specific waters to be effective. And don't fret, if the desired fish are beyond your tile limit, you can build these routes out of bounds. Just be aware of pollution and the impacts on route efficiency. Yes, these have an efficiency. If you're under 100%, you produce less. Duh. And if you go over, well, you don't produce more. The only thing you do is just add more vehicles to the route. You may be wondering why I haven't mentioned warehousing yet. In this case, at least at the time of writing, it's best to avoid it due to a bug where warehouses attempt and fail to export fish, leading to a full warehouse and financial loss. There you have it, the fishing industry from the first catch to the final sale. My apologies if this segment was a bit dry. I haven't broken down fishing before, so I wanted to ensure its accurate depiction. As you may have noticed, I have been placing generic docks and farms, intending to upgrade once the specialized are unlocked. Also, as you currently watch, I have pre-laid their specialized routes for when I eventually replace them. I will be keeping one generic dock and replacing the other 3 with an anchovy, salmon, and shellfish harbors, as well as keeping one fish farm and replacing the other 2 with the algae and seaweed farms. For these to become available, we need to catch and farm certain amounts of fish. This requires time. which can be passed by detailing with the provided landscaping and props. For those of you who, like me, enjoy a rich narrative and distinct character, allow me to weave a bit more lore and beauty into our city, Applegate. Go ahead and feel free to follow along as we add props, paths, and personality to our thriving town. Applegate's booming economy and impressive growth were beginning to turn heads, attracting not just locals but also visionaries and venture capitalists. Its central location made it a hub for visitors and passers-by looking for a place to eat and rest. Two such tourists, savvy day traders seeking investment opportunities, intrigued by the rumors of Applegate, decided to stop by. Impressed by what they saw and the stories they heard from the founders, they were tempted to invest. Before leaving, they both shared a piece of advice with the founders. Maybe add some pathways around town where you can. The founders pondered these words and realized that encouraging walking could ease traffic congestions. Thus, they set about adding pedestrian paths and leisure parks to their city, adding another layer of life and vibrancy to Applegate. Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost into the woodworks. We've installed new homes, a flourishing farm to feed, and one large catch of a fishing harbor that is truly this big. As you could see, it finished leveling up and we've installed all the relevant specialized docks and farms. Though our farming system and fishing industry are exporting for profit, through future expansions, my hopes is these will eventually begin to satiate only our own Sims demands. So here's a personal note, followed by some side notes. It turns out that my own mother watches my videos without me asking. She plays City Skylines occasionally and has built bigger cities than I have. She told me that some parts of my videos are either confusing or don't make any sense. If you happen to concur her sentiment, please feel free to ask in the comments or on my Discord. I will try to keep clarity in mind in the following episodes. Onto the notes, I have one that applies to all editions, both future and current. The exact road layouts are unimportant. You can place the roads however you'd like, as long as you're following road hierarchy and attempting to provide multiple ways in and out on both a macro and micro scale. Next, let's head over here and look at our neighborhood. I filled in the central area with a high school campus. I wasn't able to work this in visually simply because I had completely forgotten to hit the record button, so sorry about that. It has a plaza, some staff parking down over here, as well as some sports facilities, as well as community gardens. And over here in this area marked with an X, I'm saving this space for future city services. As far as the other city services, I've expanded our generic industry over here and slapped a bunch down. I even placed a bunch of cemeteries over here, as well as a bunch of water towers and even windmills. I really like the last two. I think they look great and definitely add some character to our city. Especially these windmills, and how if you go over here to the tourism area, they're going to be visible, and I think that just looks incredible. I think it'll be a great view. Now, I think I've mentioned our imports twice this episode, so let's take a look at where we're at. And we're at 26. Now, it does say that we're importing a lot of oil. The only way we can control that is by demolishing the generic industry buildings that import it. But we will be helping to further reduce our mining and forestry in the next episode, where we will be adding a minor mining and forestry industry. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to cover. If I missed something, or if anything was confusing or unclear, go ahead, feel free to ask or express those sentiments in the comments below or on my Discord. And do not forget the overused call to actions to like, subscribe, and share. This causes YouTube to promote my content more, even if you dislike the video. And to have my content promoted more is my current goal. Thank you for watching. I am beyond gratefulness. I hope you'll join me in episode 3. Bye for now.